Before we jump into week 4 of the fantasy football season, we got to look at the stash running backs that we got to have stashed on the back end of our rosters. Those guys who's an injury away, a play away from being the next big thing in fantasy football. We're going to look at those running backs right now. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're looking at these players every day. We're looking at the waiver wire. We're looking at the rankings. We're helping you set your lineups. We're deep diving the trending players multiple times a day, different players all day long, looking at this game from different angles to help you build your teams and win your leagues. Click that button. Stop missing out. It's free. But we got to dig into these stashes. We got to start looking at these guys we got to pick up or guys that we've already been hoarding. I've got them listed kind of in ranking, but I'm also personally diversifying from league to league. So it's kind of in an order of where they're ranked, but there's not too much heart mixed into one guy being over another. Now, if it's top versus the bottom, it kind of makes sense that way. But again, if they're close, pick the poison you want. But the first running back that we're looking at today, Bhayshul Tuten, he should be rostered in most leagues, but we're looking at backup stash running backs here. He's getting work on the field. We got 4.3 speed. This is a coaching staff historically that has used multiple running backs. He's getting work, has scored a touchdown in each of his last 2 games. He's getting work out there. If he's on waivers, he's a prime pickup. He's not even listed in the waiver wire series because he should have been rostered and picked up. I think I might have mentioned him once in one of the videos this week, maybe the deeper running back video, but he's getting a lot of work, a lot of opportunity. He's getting the snaps, he's getting touches for a backup 1B running back. But the thing is, if Travis Etienne goes down, he's going to fill into that role, and we're going to see LaQuint Allen get that 3rd down role, and we're going to see Bhayshul Tuten get the opportunity to get the Travis Etienne workload, but yet be so explosive he can carry the torch. And that's why he's a big-time stash right now. That's why we've been watching him since after the draft and rookie camp, because we see the explosiveness. We see how that could hit in fantasy football. And now that we got a little taste, and sometimes when a player's going to be a complete bust, you don't even get that taste. We got that. Now we see how that could feel. Now he's even more of a premium stash than what he was before. Next is Blake Corum. And if I got Kyren Williams, I'm hitting that Blake Corum button, and I'm just log jamming these Rams onto my roster because he's been killing it these last 2 weeks. 8.8 yards per carry, 6.3 yards per carry. They drafted him last year for a reason. He didn't get work last year because Kyren was getting all the touches. Kyren's workload is siphoning slowly down, not decreasing a lot, but enough where you kind of feel it in fantasy, but not enough to make you react. He was fine last week, but the week prior, you kind of felt that, and you're looking at what Blake Corum's doing. 3.13 yards after contact per attempt, 6.6 yards per carry on the season, and then you just take it to the tape, and you're like, whoa, this guy is solid, and that's what we saw at Michigan. Remember, he was getting further removed from that knee injury from that 1 year at Michigan. Then he had to play another year, and then it was the next year with the Rams, and Kyren Williams was getting all the touches and workload. We're further removed from that. We're seeing the true Blake Corum here. Blake Corum has been nasty. He's been explosive. If I don't have Kyren Williams, even if I don't, he's so explosive and nasty, and this offense can move the pace that if Kyren Williams goes down, he's still going to help me. He's still going to help me. He's not staying alone. He might cross the goal line here and there, but I can make the case that hardly any of these running backs are staying alone right now. You're just hoping that they cross the goal line if you put them into your lineup. These are stash plays. We're watching them from afar, and these guys are the handcuffs. And this is a good handcuff because we know the starter in this role here historically has gotten a lot of touches. And we're seeing Hunter behind him. He's good, but historically, the young running backs, new running backs in the system, new players in the system, they need some time. They need some time. They need to build the trust. Blake Corum is starting to build that trust. Ray Davis, we've seen him last year hit RB2 production. We've seen what this offense was like with James Cook out. Ty Johnson will get some work if this happens. But James Cook's getting so much work. He's looking so good. And there's really nothing against that. It's just football's going to football. Football's going to football. That is one thing I can definitely say will happen every Sunday until February. Football is going to football. And Ray Davis, when he gets the opportunity to get carries up the gut, showcase that vision and size, he's going to be good on the Bills. The Bills are moving the football. They're moving at a rapid pace. He looked good last year. We're in another year where he's developing, getting better. James Cook's solid. It's his job. But if he goes down, we're looking at Ray Davis stepping up. He's already next in line when it comes to carries out of the backfield. You're seeing him with that 10% share, 6% opportunity share split with Ty Johnson. It was like that last year prior to when James Cook went out for that game against the Jets, and he missed that game, and everybody was wondering which running back was going to be the back. It was Ray Davis, but it was pretty even split because they got their roles for when they got James Cook in. Ray Davis will get buoyed by this offense. He is the stash to have in this backfield. Ollie Gordon is a premium stash. Something happens to H, and everybody's going to pay up the fab. Everybody's going to get him. He's already stashed in a lot of leagues, if not most leagues, and he's going to be getting some workload, and he can be a standalone option as a gamble. Pray to the fantasy football gods. Throw in for your fantasy football team. We saw it in preseason. We saw a tiny, tiny bit last week. Last 2 games, 1 carry, 8 yards per carry. 4.22 yards per carry off 9 carries. He's been efficient with the rock in his hands on a very, very, very small sample. Ollie Gordon's averaging 4.33 yards after contact per attempt, has 4 missed tackles versus HN's 2 missed tackles. He's been solid. He's been good. He's going to get more red zone looks, more red zone opportunities. He could be standalone. I might take him over some of the guys I had listed ahead of him. That's why I said I'm diversifying. I'm not 100% to heart or locked into these guys as a ranking. That's why I'm fluid, and you should always be fluid in a game of random probabilities where things are close and the desired outcome is due to injury. And if Agent goes down, he's going to be propped up. Everybody's going to want Ollie Gordon, Woody Marks. The writing's starting to get on the wall here. We're starting to see Nick Chubb give away some of this workload to Woody Marks, and he's just chiseling at this rock every single week. Now, he hasn't been the most efficient running back out there, but the last 2 weeks, 4.67 yards per carry, 4.5 yards after contact per attempt, though, 2.67. He's been fine with the small sample. He's been fine. He's good at catching balls out of the backfield. He has a season in college with over 80 catches, another season of over 60. He can handle work up the gut. He is a multifaceted running back who can handle a lot of workload. Another thing you can throw out there, he could be messed with when it comes to his touches with Pierce and Dara Bungawale. That could potentially happen. He's also running a lot more routes now, though. That's starting to increase from 3 to 7 to 19 when you go by the weeks. Woody Marks is another guy that is likely on the waiver wire, unless you watched yesterday's video and picked him up, as a stash for your fantasy football team. That's likely a guy that you can get right now. DJ Giddens. Now, if Jonathan Taylor goes down, DJ Giddens appears to be the next man up. When you're looking at the share of rushing attempts out of the backfield, he's at 13%. The next running back, Goodson's at 7%. And Jonathan Taylor obviously is getting the bulk of the work at 60%. Obviously. But if Taylor goes down, Giddens looks like the next man up. And Giddens looks like he's going to be taken over. He has a pristine prospect profile at Kansas State. Multiple 1,000-yard seasons. Killed it at the combine. Good size adjust, athleticism. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can do a little bit of everything. You're looking at a running back here that if Jonathan Taylor goes down, can step in and be the guy. Can step in, and he's not going to be Jonathan Taylor because nobody's Jonathan Taylor. Like, he's one of the top running backs in the league. But if he steps in, he could be a top 10, top 12, top 15 running back in the National Football League when it comes to production for fantasy football, especially in this offense with how they're facilitating the rock. Danny Dimes is doing solid, spreading the ball around with these wide receivers. Tyler Warren lifting off early in his rookie season. DJ Giddens could be a sneaky hitter if something happens to Jonathan Taylor. I would blow all the fab if Taylor goes down. Kendre Miller is a sneaky stash right now. Alvin Kamara is the man. We all know that. He's also getting 22% of the rushing attempts. A 10% opportunity share. Alvin Kamara is getting the targets. But he's getting work. He's getting at least 5 carries a game. Last week he got 7 and 2 targets. The workload's increasing a little bit. He's not running a ton of routes. He ran 8 routes last game. That's the highest on the season. He's got 11 total. But that's Alvin Kamara's role right now. But when you're looking at all the other running backs here, he is getting the work outside of Kamara. He's getting the opportunities. It would be some sort of split between him and Devin Neal. But when we're looking at Kendre Miller, he's got the size. He's got the athleticism. He's got the burst. And you're looking at a running back here that beat out veteran running backs, gatekeeper running backs. Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire held them at check, kept his role, even though the team kind of hated him when he was injured just a year or so ago and not being able to practice. He was in the doghouse, but they can't keep the dog out of the house. He is back in, and he's got some opportunity. If Kamara goes down, I'm blowing almost all the fab on him because this is an offense that's going to be in some crazy game scripts. Now we're looking at hodl backs. Hodl backs are for the long term. The odds are really stacked against them. So I really want to start off with this context because we're just holding. They're not handcuffs. They technically are. They could be. Their workload would increase with an injury to the starter. That's obvious. But they're also more like long-term plays for the season, maybe more for next year. But you catch my drift, and the first one is Brashard Smith. We're doing videos on him where we just go over his advanced analytics, going over the routes ran because that's what we're watching, the routes and the snaps. His snap share isn't really increasing. 11%, 8%, 13%. His routes ain't either. 3.26, indicating he's more of a long-term play. What we like, though, is Isaiah Pacheco sucks. Kareem Hunt sucks. They could turn around, and I suggest they turn around if they want to keep having a career in the NFL. But Brashard Smith can catch the ball in the backfield. Former wide receiver. Not just a running back, but more of a weapon for this team that they can deploy in different areas. Got work with the first team a lot in training camp and preseason. That's an indicator that he's built trust and they like his skill sets, that he's going to be involved. Used a lot in special teams, so if you get kick return points, maybe that's something you pay attention to. This is something that could materialize like in December or late November for us. This is a long-term play. It could never. It could be next year. But this is a long-term play. So that's why I have him mentioned, because if Pacheco goes down, it could be Hunt's. They could trade for Jerome Ford. It could be something like that. But as we get deeper to the season, as they try to get more creative with their game plans, Brashard Smith, as we saw with Jerick McKinnon, who are people saying he's the next Jerick McKinnon, he came on strong at the end of that 2022 season. Jaydon Blue, he hasn't taken a snap yet. Javonte Williams has been playing good. Miles Sanders hasn't been playing great, but he's had moments. Jaydon Blue's got 4.3 speed. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's explosive. When he comes into play, when he gets his opportunity, he's got a lot of upside. When the coaches allow him on the field, it's only going to be a few snaps here and there, and it's going to be a ramp up until he gets his full-blown opportunity. Jaydon Blue is an upside play for the long term. He's a guy that I could see getting some opportunity later in the year. There's a chance both these running backs don't hold up. Both of them had injuries in the past. Sanders for sure. Williams for sure. So that's something to take note. This team ain't winning the Super Bowl, so they're going to be seeing what they got on the youth front here later in the year. Jaydon Blue will get his opportunity, and that opportunity might start off slow and just chip away as we get deeper into the season. But he's a long-term stash. But that 4.3 speed and that ability to catch the ball in the backfield is really going to help him for fantasy football. Tahj Brooks. Now you're looking at this Bengals team. You're looking at Chase Brown. You're looking at this offense. How much longer will it handle this bad production? How many more L's can they take? You look at these defenses coming up. Denver on the road, Detroit, Green Bay on the road. How many more L's can they take before they start switching things up? Tahj Brooks, record-setting running back out of Texas Tech. Very productive. Good vision. Good between the tackles. Very dependable player. Hasn't gotten much work here. Chase Brown has not been looking like Chase Brown. We do not know how much longer that's going to last before they start throwing shit against the wall. But you're looking at Tahj Brooks here. He's in the same boat Chase Brown was when Chase Brown first started. The late round pick that we noticed has some upside, that's down in the class, but has some talent that could fit well in this Bengals if you just give him a chance, allow him to develop a little bit before he gets his opportunity. You got Burrow, maybe later when he's in. Maybe this offense clicking a little bit better when he's in. And now you get to see how he would look with the firepower behind him. Plus, when healthy, the Bengals offense can fuel these running backs. Tahj Brooks is a long-term stash for the season. We still got a lot of football to be played. He's got a lot of upside. Those are the running backs that we're looking at today. Let me know who you're stashing in the comment section below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.